Hold on to your butts and welcome to the official Mattel Creations live stream for Jurassic Park The Gates Crowdfund. I'm your host, Trisha Hirschberger, and thanks so much for joining us today, everybody. Let's take a moment right now to see who's watching. I've been watching chat. I see Today I Grew Up. I see Jurassic Park Compound is here, the Jurassic Park podcast. So many, Collect Jurassic, so many wonderful folks have joined us today for the live stream, and we are just honored that you're here. So I hope that everyone has been enjoying Jurassic June as we celebrate 30 years of Jurassic Park, but it's not over yet. It has certainly been an exciting time at Mattel as they brought all new dinosaurs and characters from the original films to life in the Hammond Collection, announced the massive Hammond Collection Brachiosaurus, and of course released the 93 Classic line that features all the nostalgia and feels from the 1990s with figures like the electronic real-feel Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now today we're excited to share something that has never been done before in core action figure scale. Mattel finds a way. It's the Gates. The Mattel team has spared no expense on the Gates, and now it's time to see it all in action. Not only will we unveil the Gates, but we'll take a tour of the entire offering, including all of the tiers that will be unlocked at the different backer levels. And what could be better than a Jurassic Park themed tour? Along the tour, we're going to speak to some park residents, including Mattel Marketing, Mattel Design, and a few special guests as well. Plus, we are going to have time to respond to your questions and comments throughout this live stream, as well as a Q&A session after everything's been revealed. So go ahead and ask the Mattel team your burning questions about the campaign, and we'll get to as many of them as possible. So let's jump right in. I want to introduce our first guest. Joining us remotely, it's the Academy Award-winning Jurassic Park Dinosaur Animation Supervisor, Phil Tippett. The Mattel team brings dinosaur action figures to life, so we asked Phil about his experience bringing dinosaurs to the big screen. Phil?
I am Phil Tippett, and I was the dinosaur supervisor. Our learning curve on Jurassic was precipitous because nobody had ever done anything like that. So we were making, we were learning as we were going, making plenty of mistakes as we went. It was a leap. It was in those first tests, director, actor, designer, like all of these things to get the thing to be as good as you possibly can, and that it works within the dramatic context of the story,
I think we can all agree that the dinosaurs in the film delivered. We'll catch up more with Phil in just a bit. But now I'm sure everyone's excited to hear more about the Gates. And luckily, joining us on this tour, we have Mattel's lead designer on this project, Greg Murphy. Welcome, Greg!
The live stream talking about our first ever Jurassic crowdfund item, the Gates. Yes. It's really here. We're really doing it finally. I'm super excited to get into this with everyone on the stream and you today, Trisha. So let's go for it.
I can't wait to dive right in. But first, Greg, could you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do at Mattel?
Absolutely. So I am the lead product designer on the Jurassic Park action figure brand at Mattel, which means I basically make dinosaurs all day, dinosaur toys and things like that. So it's essentially the greatest job ever.
Sounds like a pretty cool job, yeah. And now Jurassic Park The Gates are finally here. This is a super exciting moment for you, for everyone watching. Are you ready to do the official reveal? Would you like to do the honors?
I would love nothing more. Okay. All right, drum roll please. Everyone in the audience, hold your breath.
There it is.
The Gates.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
So we can see here, these Gates are huge. They are 20 inches tall. We've got all this amazing sculpted detail and deco bringing everything to life. All the cracks and crevices in the stone, that awesome wood grain deco, which is popped out there with some wipe applications. We even have really detailed ground texture in here with the rail that the explorers run along. We've got foliage, we've got everything you need to make this the centerpiece of your Jurassic collection. And that's what really we're here about today.
Yeah, I'm blown away already by the film accuracy and the amount of deco and detail you have in this. Now, I'm curious about the interactive portions of the Gates. Can you kind of walk us through some of that?
Yeah, definitely. So these Gates don't just look amazing, they also sound amazing and they actually react. So I think first we should just go on a little tour of Jurassic Park, just like in the film.
Sure.
So we're going to take our Explorer here and we're going to drive it up to approach the Gates. And there's actually a sensor there that triggers the Gates to open automatically. You can drive your Explorer through. That iconic John Williams theme plays. It's just so amazing.
Oh, my heart. Oh, I love it. That is so magical. Greg, okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it just my imagination and my love of Jurassic Park filling in some ambient jungle sounds in the background there in addition to the theme, or do we have that too?
So we actually, not just your imagination on this one. So we do have some other island jungle sounds happening in the background when that theme plays to really build that ambience and to really make it feel like you are entering Jurassic Park. And we actually have an entire second mode for this item that demonstrates exactly that. So we've now switched the item to display mode, and in this mode you'll see the lamps are still flickering, and we're getting a really nice kind of island soundscape, and you can hear there's a raptor calling in the distance. You might even hear a T-Rex in a little bit. There's a lot of different sounds going on to really build that feeling that you're entering Jurassic Park. But not only that, you can change the time of day by pressing this button down here. So if we switch to night mode, we actually get floodlights that illuminate from the bottom to make it feel like you're visiting the park at night. And we get a whole different soundscape with crickets chirping and different dinosaurs that make their appearance during the nighttime in the film. Dinosaurs like the Dilophosaurus we just heard.
Perfectly
on cue. Which is really awesome. And there's actually one final mode here too. If we switch, we can recreate the iconic hurricane that so much of the climactic action of the film takes place. You can hear we've got wind and rain and things like that. And there might actually be a couple thunderclaps and some lightning effects that we'll pick up on as this continues to play, which is just so awesome for building that ambience.
I love it, and so great for recreation, and I'm way into it. Now, I also notice, even from this distance, in the sculpt, there might be some fan Easter eggs in there. Can you walk us through some Easter eggs?
I would love to. So one of the things I'd love to point out is we actually have the manual override down here. And this is a functional manual override. So you can actually press that button to disengage the motor. So you can pose these gates however you want. And then the next time you want to use that motor, they snap right back into the track and go. Cool. But if you look closely under that override, there's actually a few footprints there that look like they might have come from, I don't know, somebody who might be an IT worker or something like that at Jurassic Park.
Maybe.
And scattered around, there's also a stick and some Dilophosaurus footprints. So I'm not sure what all that adds up to, but it seems like something suspicious might have been going on.
For sure, something suspicious. I want to give a quick shout out to Trike on a Bike, Fuzzy Kiwi, and Bouncy Shell who are joining us today. Welcome. And also, Greg, I can't help but notice, in addition to the gates, which are just, I mean, this is a massive display piece. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's a vehicle alongside it. Can you walk us through what this vehicle is?
Sure. So for the first time ever in our line, we are doing the number 5 Ford Explorer from Jurassic Park. So the number is not all that's different on this vehicle. We have a lot of collector-focused features making their debut on the number 5 Explorer. So right off the bat, we have these brand new wheels with rubber tires to really give you that premium feel with all of this tire deco and wheel deco to bring those screen details to life. We've also gone in and added the satellite antennas to the mirrors and a ton more deco across the entire vehicle for as screen accurate appearance as possible. And we even have a ton of detail on the inside, which is brand new for this vehicle.
Do you mind if I take a peek at that?
Yeah, of course.
See. Yeah, the interior is super detailed, and I see, is that 2 screens in there? And it even looks like the screen that's showing to the backseat passenger. That's from the film, yeah?
Yeah, so
Same
that is
map.
the park map that is displayed on that screen, just like in the film.
That is super cool. All right, let me set this down here. I'll give that back to you. So Greg, how are fans able to get their hands on all of this?
So I'm super glad you asked. That's obviously one of the big reasons we're here and we're talking to everyone online today. So for the first tier of the crowdfund, you get the awesome, iconic gates and this number 5 Explorer. So once we reach 5,000 backers and we have the funds secured for that, then these are available to everyone who backs right out of the gate.
That's awesome. And really such an amazing offering for the first ever Jurassic World Crowdfund from Mattel. This is exciting. Now, at this point, I would like to bring out another guest, Dylan Price from Mattel's marketing team, to talk a little bit more about how the crowdfund works. Dylan, welcome.
Woo! How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Dylan, thank you for being part of the stream today. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you've been up to at Mattel?
Sure. So first of all, super excited to be here with you guys. So my name's Dylan. I'm on the brand marketing team for Jurassic World action figures at Mattel. And if Greg has the coolest job ever making dinosaurs, I have the second coolest job because I get to market them. But yeah, it's been a great year to be on the marketing team here, and an incredible time to be a Jurassic World fan.
It absolutely is. It's been a really big year for Jurassic Park and Jurassic World action figures. So why is now the right time for the crowdfund?
So obviously this year celebrates the 30th anniversary of the original Jurassic Park film. So that's brought a huge wave of nostalgia and celebration around the film. The gates are really such an iconic part of Jurassic Park. It really brings us in to the film, and there's such excitement about the opening of the gates to finally get in the park. So we wanted to wait for a moment like this, the 30th anniversary, that felt like the right time to launch our first ever crowdfund through an awesome platform like Mattel Creations.
Yeah, so the 30th anniversary really is the perfect moment to launch this campaign. And as a fan, I have to say, I've really enjoyed seeing the Hammond collection lean into the 30th anniversary as well. What other ways have you been celebrating with product?
Oh yeah, so the Hammond collection this year has been super fun to work on. We brought in to the line a bunch of first-time species and characters from the original Jurassic Park film trilogy, and we recently released the Hammond collection Brachiosaurus, which is the largest dinosaur that we've ever done in the Hammond collection. It's got an amazing soft feel neck with incredible articulation. The team did a really awesome job. Greg here knocked it out of the park.
Thank you.
I have to say.
Well done, Greg.
And we made some really fun marketing assets around it too. We made a great video, a stop motion video, where John Hammond actually gave us a very own tour of his Hammond collection park.
I believe we have that video ready to share. Let's take a look. That was so fun. Well done, everybody. How's the response been so far? I gotta know.
Well, 30 years, I mean, there's all the feels. Wow, Rexy is really excited about this. The fan community has been really engaged. We love engaging with them, and we partnered with some folks. I actually heard you shout one of them out on the live stream, Jurassic Park Compound. He did a great job with some of our product photography shots for the Hammond collection. So the next major moment that we're going to be doing, engaging with fans, is going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. It's going to be a really fun moment. We're actually going to have the gates in person, in the flesh.
In the stone.
In the stone.
In the stone, yes. Fitting. At San Diego Comic-Con, so we're so excited to share them.
Oh, that's so exciting. Well, I'll have to make sure at San Diego Comic-Con this year that I stop by to see it again in person. How else have you been engaging with fans through this process?
So we love feedback, and I make sure to follow a lot of the fan creators out there and fan accounts. I'm in the comments section, battling out, reading the good, the bad, and the ugly on the social comments, but we're actually going to give our Jurassic fans the opportunity to give us feedback on the Hammond collection as part of this campaign through a survey. So keep your eyes peeled for that email that's going to be sent out to everyone who's engaging.
Oh, I love that so much. Getting that community feedback is perfect. And speaking of community feedback from the fans, let's take a moment right now to see what the viewers have been saying in chat. I see some of you are fans of the periodic table pants. Thank you so much. We thought they'd be fitting for this Jurassic Park stream. Let's see what else we have. Lots of love for the Brachiosaurus. I see a lot of that. People are asking about the black window frames on the Explorer. Can we speak to that a little? Maybe Greg?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the Explorer, we went back in and we added a ton of deco to this vehicle to make it really pop, just like in the movie, make it look as authentic to that vehicle as possible. So one of the things we added, of course, was the black around the windows, just like that Explorer actually had in the film. And we, as I spoke to earlier, we added a ton of deco throughout the entire vehicle to really capture that on-screen look.
Yeah, it looks truly fantastic. I see some love for the Brachiosaurus as well. And it really just feels like the Jurassic Park community is kind of here high-fiving each other and collecting in chat. It's a little, a little reunion, and we absolutely love to see that. So thank you so much for that. It looks like people are looking forward to San Diego Comic-Con and getting a chance to see this in person. So that's really fantastic. Okay, if at this point, we're going to take a pause on questions for now, but don't worry because we'll have time to answer some more in just a little bit. So think those up, put them in chat, we'll collect them and answer those in a bit. But Dylan, before we go any further, can you please explain to anyone who might be new to these crowdfund campaigns how the backer system works?
Okay, so stick with me here. People can go on mattelcreations.com, the website right now, and back the crowdfund. Tier 1, which is the gates in the Ford Explorer, we'll see unlock when 5,000 people have backed the crowdfund. And then as more people back the crowdfund, further product is unlocked at different backer levels. So the offer grows more as more people pledge, but the price stays the same. Cool. So there are 4 tiers. Tier 1 is unlocked at 5,000 backers. Tier 2 at 6K. Tier 3 at 8,000, and Tier 4 at 10,000. And we're really excited to be giving you all a first look at the special offerings. So let's check out all the tiers. Let's
definitely check out all the tiers. And I heard that we might have someone special to introduce Tier 2 of the crowdfund. Here's Joseph Mazzello, who we all know as Tim Murphy.
Be the first to get a Jurassic Park 30th Anniversary Collector Edition figure of my character, Tim Murphy.
All right, I'm sure fans are ecstatic to see Tim along with the enclosure fences as part of this offering. So, Greg, what can everyone expect to see at the Tier 2 level?
So at the Tier 2 level, we get into some really exciting things that help build out your park. So of course, as we just heard from the man himself, we've got the Tim Murphy figure here. So this features an all-new head sculpt with that electrocuted hair, recreating that iconic scene from the film. And we, of course, have all of that collector-level deco on this figure as well, so that it looks perfect when it's mixed in with all of your rest of your Jurassic collection. It'll look amazing on your shelf. But of course, you don't just get Tim, you also get those incredible enclosure fences that recreate that scene perfectly. So we can just plug those into the side here, right into the gate. If they're just fit in like that. And you can see the red lights flash, they come online, and it plugs in seamlessly to create the Jurassic Park enclosure look, which is just incredible for all your display needs.
Oh, that is so cool. And I don't know if it's coming through on camera, but I think Tiger Wiz asked in chat a little earlier if the lights on the gates work as well. And I don't know that we spoke to that, but it is. It's a flickering light, and it looks very much like flame. So I hope that's coming through on camera. So in addition to the lights on the fences, we also have the lights on the gates. And I mean, the whole Tier 2 offering with everything and Tim included is quite electrifying, if I do say so myself. And we were also able to ask Phil Tippett and hear about his behind-the-scenes experience dealing with the fencing and these dinos. So, Phil?
The fence we did a couple of times. Once for the animatics that we used to kind of pre-choreograph all the both the Raptor kitchen and the Tyrannosaurus paddock. And for the animatics to get the Tyrannosaurus to bite the electrical wires, we used elastic cable, like rubber, so it would bend. And then of course, when we did the digital version, that was all digital wires.
Well, it sounds like life cannot be contained, which is a great segue into Tier 3. Greg, what's in store for backers at Tier 3?
Oh man, Tier 3 is going to be so incredible. So once we reach that 8,000 backer level, that's when we unlock the Lost World Buck T-Rex. And this thing is just crazy. It looks so good. We have a brand new head and neck sculpt on this dinosaur to really capture the iconic look that we know fans love from that film. And this is also one of our most fan-demanded Hammond collection figures ever.
Yes.
So we wanted to make sure that we could bring it to life in the most detailed and accurate way possible. And this crowdfund is the perfect way to do that. You're still getting all of that articulation, all of that collector level deco that we know and love from the Hammond collection. All those great features like the stretchy tail that Dylan's demoing now. We have those stretchy jaw tendons. We have the glass eyes, so everything looks fantastic on this figure. And we've even gone back in and reworked some of the proportions to make this even more screen accurate than any Hammond collection T-Rex we've done to date.
I mean, it really looks fantastic. The detail in it looks so good. And honestly, let's tap back in with Phil about his process in capturing textures and design for the dinosaurs in his stop motion work.
Working with real materials, like if you're making like a sculpture, say like a stop motion dinosaur, you want to give scale to the thing. And so in order to make a skin that has the right kind of scale, well, what you do is you get a bunch of shotgun pellets that are really small and you spread them out on a piece of clay and you tamp them down, you make a mold and you do a rubber skin. And then you have the texture on it that has the right spectral kind of highlights and matte quality. So when you put lights on it, the light falls across the surface of the thing and gives it the presence of something. Well, when you're doing like, you know, with stop motion, it's a real thing.
All right, with all of that detailed information from Phil, Greg, I would love to hear more about how the team at Mattel brings textures and designs to life for the toys. And are there shotgun pellets involved?
So usually we don't get too deep in on shotgun pellets we're working with, but you never know. We might actually get an opportunity. Could happen.
Never say never.
Exactly. But just like Phil, we're going in and we're trying to capture the most lifelike version of these dinosaurs possible. And for us, a lot of that means actually going back to his work and his team's work from the films and later teams as well, in the case of the Buck T-Rex. And basically we're trying to find as many images and models and CGI creations from those films that we can reference to capture that detail as fine as possible. And in the places where we can't necessarily get the best view or the best angle, sometimes we just go to real animals too, to try to fill in those gaps with realistic skin textures and realistic looks that make these figures pop on shelf and feel like a real tangible animal.
That makes sense, and I would say job well done. I mean, especially at the distance I'm seeing it from right here, so up close, it looks absolutely brilliant. But I think now would be a great time to check back in with chat, because I've been seeing some questions come in, and see what people are saying about the tiers so far. Caring Squash said, my jaw is on the ground. Thank you for that. I also saw some people asking about the figure articulation of Tim. So can we talk about that quickly?
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. So yeah, there's definitely been a lot of talk in the chat about why are there no elbow articulation? These are collector figures. We should have that, right? And the thing is, when you're designing a toy, there's always a little bit of a give and take on what choices you decide to include for the look of the toy and how it's going to function. And just knowing that these are in the 3 3/4 inch, which is the standard scale for our Hammond collection, these are much smaller figures than any of the adults that we've included before. And we tried to include the elbow articulation on these, and it just didn't look right. At this scale, the break that you need for that joint disc to actually fit into the elbow for the range of motion that we would want for a collector figure, it broke up the form too much, and it just didn't look like what we wanted to deliver to collectors as a display piece, as something you'd love to put on your shelf. So we made a judgment call there to just keep the arms as a solid piece in order to preserve those aesthetics as naturally as possible.
That makes sense. I also see some questions specifically about Buck. Why Buck versus the T-Rex from Jurassic Park? I don't know who wants to take that.
I can take that one. So obviously, this is a Jurassic World set, so Jurassic World set is just not going to feel complete without a dinosaur. And we really wanted to give fans something that they were really demanding and would be really excited about. We've obviously released the T-Rex for the Hammond collection in our mainline offering. We also included a version in our San Diego Comic-Con outhouse lawyer scene. So we wanted something that felt special and really unique for this crowdfunded set. And so Buck T-Rex is such a fun, cool character as part of the original Jurassic Park film franchise. You know, that we thought he would really be a great addition to the set and introduce some of that, you know, freshness and newness, and really give something that fans would look forward to in a crowdfund offering.
Yeah, and I have to say, I mean, we've said it before, but in person, the Buck T-Rex looks absolutely amazing and is a really, really cool piece to add. Folks, before we check out the last tier, I think we may have another special guest who wanted to say hello. Here's Ariana Richards, also known as Lex Murphy.
Happy Jurassic June! Be the first to get a Jurassic Park 30th Anniversary Collector Edition figure of my character, Lex Murphy.
All right, Lex is so cool. Okay, Greg, what is in store for the final tier?
All right, so for the final tier, drum roll please, everyone online, hold your breaths. So we have the Lex Murphy figure coming to us here, again, with all that collector deco that we expect from these collector-oriented figures. She's got a brand new head sculpt sporting her iconic purple hat. And of course, I know some of you are also wondering, just like Lex in the movie, where's the goat? Well, the goat is actually here. We've got the goat live in studio with us today. And the goat looks amazing. This is everything you need to finally complete the Jurassic Park collection, right? The goat is here with the detachable leg, so it's perfect dino food. And you can even recreate that awesome scene where it falls on the roof of the Explorer, so, oh no, the T-Rex is gonna get us, that kind of thing. So it's just the perfect addition to round out this as the ultimate Jurassic collector set.
That removable leg is ridiculous. It looks like there's even like some bone.
Yeah, we got a little bone detail, a little blood detail. It's pretty true to life.
It is gross and perfect, and thank you for that, Greg. That is one iconic goat, for sure. So Dylan, is there anything else we should know about this fantastic offering?
So these here are all 4 tiers of the Gates crowdfund, but as an early backer bonus, if we do fund within the first 2 weeks, by July 11th, we'll also be including the 6 paddock signs that correspond to the Jurassic Park dinosaurs. We'll include that to everyone, so everyone can, you know, build their own Jurassic Park right at home. The crowdfund runs from June 27th to July 26th. And right now, the crowdfund is only available in the US. I know there's been a lot of comments about this, but once we reach that baseline funding at 5,000 backers, the campaign will open up to international consumers as well. Unfortunately, due to the payment system limitations, we just can't accept those international payments until we fund. But we're excited to offer the item globally once we hit that first 5,000 backers.
All right, well, thank you for walking us through that, because as you said, there were a lot of folks asking about it in chat, so thank you for that. This looks amazing. It sounds amazing. I don't know if everyone at home can hear the sound effects that have been happening up here on stage. It's so fun. But seriously, to both of you, to the entire Mattel team, I don't know how you do it, but once again, you have outdone yourself. But I mean, you don't need to hear it from me. Let's go back to the live feed to see and let all the viewers ask their questions. So again, folks, please start throwing your questions out there, and we will get to as many of them as we can. And you don't even have to say the magic word, although it'd be kind if you did. And while we're getting those questions, remember that's 5,000 backers for the Gates and Ford Explorer, 6,000 backers for Tim Murphy and the enclosure fences, 8,000 backers for the Hammond Collection Buck T-Rex, and 10,000 backers for Lex Murphy and the Goat. And if you pre-order before July 11th, to get the early backer bonus paddock signs. All right, so let's see. One of the questions I had noticed a little earlier, someone had asked, are all these items considered part of the Hammond Collection line?
Yeah, so these all fit within the banner of the Hammond Collection. You'll see the level of articulation and deco on the Buck T-Rex, especially like the Ford Explorer with the rubber tires, the deco details. So this level of deco and articulation, these are definitely our collector level figures that are part of the that fit within that Hammond collection scale and also collector level offering.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And Greg, I know a
Yeah.
lot of folks have been asking for some more detail on the paint deco on Buck and the Explorer specifically. Can you walk us through that
I would
again?
love to take a look at that. So I'm just going to grab this guy over here. So I saw there was questions specifically about the scars. I don't know if we'll be able to see it on the camera here, but we actually do have the scars up on the nose there, just like in the film, trying to capture this as accurately as possible. And again, with all of these movie dinosaurs, there's a lot of different sources of reference that we look at, and the colors and things and the details kind of vary between those, whether it's a CGI creation, or if it's an animatronic, or if it's an early maquette. And so one of our jobs as designers is always to go in and kind of figure out what interpretation of the dinosaur are we going to hone in on and bring those details to life. And we usually end up kind of picking and choosing the best parts from all those sources to combine into ultimate figures. So on this T-Rex, just again talking about that detail, we have so much paint on this thing, top to bottom, all the stripes. We've got a beautiful kind of olive green fade under the black stripes along the back that fades into the green of the body. We've got a couple of different yellow hues that fade up through the legs and across. And of course, even on the jaw, there's a ton of coloration and speckles and fading and white deco that really pops out those skin textures.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And then can you walk us through some of the paint deco details on the Explorer as well? Folks were asking.
Yeah, of course. So I know we talked a little bit earlier about the window deco being updated on this, but as we also spoke to, and I think you got an up-close look at, there's also some incredible detail inside the vehicle, which I don't know if we're going to be able to capture well on camera. Let me see if I open the door, if that'll really... Yeah, it's kind of small to see, but we have all the screens and the dashboard and the instrument cluster, and all of that has its own deco treatment. We painted the inside of the door cards even on this thing. So trying to make it feel as authentic as possible to the film so that even if you've got your camera and you're zooming in for some toy photography inside the Explorer, you can still accurately recreate your favorite Jurassic Park scenes.
Amazing. And yeah, the interior detail does look amazing on that. I was excited to get to see it up close, and it's very cool. I saw Collect Jurassic asked if this set does well, can we expect more Jurassic Park items crowdfunded for the future?
Yeah, I mean, we really want to launch this first crowdfund. It's obviously our first Jurassic crowdfund ever. It's really something that we thought was a perfect display piece and centerpiece for people's collection. So let's see how this goes. And but we're definitely, we have lots of ideas in terms of great offerings. So let's launch this first one and let's go from there.
And hope for the best. But yeah, there's a lot of excitement around it. I think that's generally what I'm getting from you, especially from the Mattel side. All right, Scott in chat had asked, how are the electronics powered? Batteries, AC, etc.?
So for the electronics in this item, so right now you can power the gates at any time using 4 AA batteries, but it also has a port for an AC adapter. So if you have a compatible adapter that you can find at basically any electronics store, on Amazon, anywhere, very cheaply, those you can power it indefinitely using a power adapter. And this does have a sleep mode when it's in battery mode. So if you leave it on, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to run out your battery and you turn the thing on the next time and it doesn't work. So we've tried to be very conscious of how we design the electronics in this to make sure that you're getting the full experience on battery power. But then if you're a super fan who wants to leave this thing on in your room for 48 hours, you can plug in the AC adapter and go crazy, but that is not included.
Okay. And then I saw Amazed Plume ask this, and I'm going to say that this question was spurned from the fact that Greg and Dylan did such a smooth job putting it together. But Amazed Plume asked, how does the fence connect? And I know you guys kind of did it in one.
Let's do a reverse demo.
Tandem, or
yeah, on three, man.
Reverse demo.
1, 2, 3. So these just literally pop out. So I don't know if we can see on the camera there, but there's just a little peg here that houses the electronic connection, and then it just has a little lip there that fits snugly right into the side, kind of on the ground level, kind of beneath the foliage of the gate. Yeah, thank you for moving that. So this just literally slots in super easily. You just push it right in. You can see those lights come on contact. It's a super easy assembly process. And we do have this piece here that fits snug right up against the side of the gate to ensure that no dinosaurs can escape, because that's a consistent problem with Jurassic Park.
Super important. Yeah, super important. All right, thank you for your question. Dan Hu said, how wide is it in total, including the fences?
So I believe the entire width, when this whole thing is assembled, is around 51 inches, give or take a few fractions of an inch one way or the other. So this is a huge statement when you have it all assembled. Of course, you can disassemble those gates and place them however you want for whatever diorama or photography or scenes you want to recreate. But when it is assembled and the electronics are powered on, this thing has a massive footprint that's going to look crazy on your shelf or your living room table or your entryway or anywhere where you want to show your Jurassic fandom.
Yeah, it's bigger than my wingspan, for
Yeah, right.
sure, standing next to it. Science to Geek says, do the figures fit inside the Explorer?
Absolutely. Figures do fit inside the Explorer. I will let Dylan demo that here.
Yeah, Dylan, model that
Yeah.
for us, please.
Go right in the back seat.
And going along with that, someone had also asked, do the doors and trunk open on the Explorer?
So the doors, all 4 doors do open. The trunk does not open on this vehicle.
Here's Timmy. And
We do have molded
Timmy in
detail
there.
inside the trunk though, showing some of the gear crates. Like if you remember where Tim pulls out those night vision goggles, we have some really cool details sculpted in the back that you can see through the glass to help recreate the look of that vehicle inside and out.
Awesome. And I see Collect Jurassic and Animation Cove. We're both kind of discussing the fence wires. Do they bend? And I know we kind of covered that, but if you could just give us a little more detail on it.
Yeah, so these are actually elastic bands. So you can pull on them. Dylan, if you want to pull on some of those to show everybody. So we can see these are elastic bands that are colored to match the gates. And these allow you to have all those great moments. So if a T-Rex is stomping through, you can actually press down on those to get some kind of tension in the wires. Of course, as we saw earlier, Tim can grip his hand around those. We made sure the diameter of those elastic bands was perfect for our figures to grip onto. So there's a lot of different play that comes from having elastic bands there on the fences.
Oh, so fun. And Dylan, I don't know if you're trying to put Tim on the fence right now, and I'm going to distract you by asking this question. But Zach Williams in chat had said, so I'm still confused. If we all help fund this, we all receive this set completely without paying a separate price? So can you just kind of break down how the backers and tiers work, how the tiers unlock?
Yeah, sure. So as long as we reach a certain amount of backers, the price does not change throughout the entire crowdfund. So the set is $250. That's for tier 1, all the way through tier 4. So the more backers that sign up, the more product adds to the set,
Yes.
but the price stays the same.
Yes. Okay, good. So I hope that answers your question, Zach. And all right, I'm looking through, and I think that might be all we have time for today. So thank you all so much for being here. As Dylan said, there will be that email that goes out. Keep your eyes peeled for that to give some feedback. But thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you to Dylan Price and Greg Murphy for giving us your time and your insights, along with our special guests who joined us remotely, Phil Tippett, Joseph Mazzello, and Ariana Richards. And thanks, of course, to all of you so much who are watching the live feed right now, wherever you're watching it. We're live in a few different places. And just again, to go over it, remember that's 5,000 backers for the Gates and Ford Explorer, 6,000 backers for Tim Murphy and the enclosure fences, 8,000 backers for the Hammond Collection Buck T-Rex, and 10,000 backers for Lex Murphy and the Goat. And fun by July 11th to get the early backer bonus paddock signs. So pre-order is open right now through July 26th. Let's fully fund this campaign and make Jurassic Park The Gates a reality. Thank you all so much. And thank you guys.
Yeah,
This was
thank
so
you. It was
fun.
so
Thanks for
fun.
this goat leg is ridiculous.
I know.